Tom, first off, what were the main takeaways for investors from this speech?
Yeah, it was a marathon speech, and there was a lot that was covered, whether that was the reform of the military or the reform of the party. But I will zero in on those highlights for investors, as we would see them at least. There was a few points that were articulated by President Xi. He said, for example, that he wanted to see greater coordination between the monetary and fiscal arms of the government. He wants to see reform of the renminbi and interest rate regime as well. He also said he wanted to see a lowering of trade barriers for foreign investment. He wanted to see stronger state companies. So a number of different issues around the economy that he touched on. He also said there were continuing issues around imbalances in the economy, a lack of productivity. And notably, and we've seen these real estate curves put in place, he said that housing should be for living in, not for speculation. So watch the developers on that as well. It seems to suggest that these curves won't be removed anytime soon. He did all this within the framework, he said, of China that was moving towards a socialism, a new socialism with new Chinese characteristics. And as you say, a rejuvenated nation that would be a leading global power by 2050.
So what's next, Tom? What can we expect over the next few days?
So in the next few days, we're likely to hear from some of the delegates, some of the big state-owned enterprise bosses and some of the executives here. But really the focus now shifts to Tuesday when the party congress wraps up. And then Wednesday, that's when they're going to unveil the Politburo Standing Committee. That is the elite group of 7, as it is now, 7 men who effectively lead China. And we know that very likely Premier Li Keqiang will stay in his position, and of course President Xi Jinping. It's those other 5 members that will point to whether or not President Xi has managed to align more of his allies in that top elite group of Chinese leaders. Whether or not we'll see any hints of a successor, because there is speculation as to whether or not President Xi will indeed step down in 5 years' time, or whether he'll stay on in some formal role or under some other title. So that is crucial now, looking ahead to next week. The Standing Committee, the Politburo, because this is a president who is more powerful than presidents we've seen here in China for generations. And so really that is key. What happens with President Xi and his allies on Wednesday? We'll get more clear guidance on that.